Can the CIA be trusted? Well, it seems like they do a great job of trying to keep America safe and stopping everyone from tearing down all that represents the Star-Spangled Banner. But some things that they've been working on might have you questioning their ethics a little bit.
Yeah, some of the things we're about to tell you are going to come as a pretty big shock. Plus, I'm pretty sure the CIA is constantly spying on us. In fact, they are probably watching this video right now. Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Lindsay Ivan.
And I'm Jade Arena. Today we're going to be counting down the top 10 mysterious experiments conducted by the CIA. If you guys want more Most Amazing Top 10 content, you should check us out on Instagram and Facebook and stick around until the end of this list because we're going to have some bloopers for you guys.
Exciting. And if you like this video and want to see more content like it, then check out this playlist right here.
Coming in at number 10, we have Area 51 experiments. Now, what is actually going on at Area 51? We might never know. If you are a fan of this channel, then you have for sure heard of me talk about Bob Lazar and the gravity reactor, which was apparently an Area 51 experiment back in the 80s. But I have touched on that so many times that we will move on to something else in the realm of flight. Apparently, the CIA and the military have both been involved in testing and creating experimental spacecrafts. That is apparently where all the Roswell UFO and alien rumors came from. The CIA and the American military were testing new aircrafts in the area, and they didn't want people to know, so the CIA sent out disinformation agents to spread rumors about aliens. This way, if anyone saw anything, they would think it was some sort of alien ship, and they wouldn't give up any details about a new American gadget that was flying through the air.
Moving on, we have the Spy Kitties. This one is kind of funny, I can't lie. So in the late 60s, the CIA poured millions of dollars into one particular experiment. What was this experiment, you ask? Well, they wanted to see if cats could be trained to become spies. Yeah. They planned to train cats to spy on the Soviet Union, but it was a terrible, terrible fail. They called this Operation Acoustic Kitty. Basically, they implanted a microphone into a cat's ear and a radio transmitter in a cat's skull. Their plan was to then have the cat, lurk near foreign officials to pick up their private conversations. And they thought it would be perfect. But during their first test, the cat wandered into the street and was struck and killed by a car. So, yeah, they kind of gave up on that project and wasted millions of dollars with that plan.
Coming in at number 8, we have remote viewing. In the 1970s, the CIA got word that the Soviet Union was starting to look into psychic abilities. Not only this, but they were increasing the funding into this research over the years. This was alarming to the Americans because if the Soviets were starting to dump more and more money into this effort, it probably meant that they were about to have some sort of breakthrough. And there was no way that the Americans were going to be caught dead without psychic soldiers, especially if the commies over the pond were going to be making them. So they started to dump a ton of money into what would be later called remote viewing. It was seeing if someone had the ability to see objects in a room that they had never been in before, or if they could see events from far away with only the power of their mind. And truth be told, this program did see some success. The CIA learned that this is actually a skill that someone could train to an extent. The program was later canned, probably because it lacked any sort of accuracy that could be put into the field, or because it was successful and there was no way the American government wanted its people to know that psychics are real.
Making our way down the list to number 7, we have whooping cough. According to some reports, in 1955 the CIA was doing biological warfare testing on residents in the Tampa Bay area, without them knowing about it. They were apparently spraying whooping cough bacteria all over that area. They wanted to see the effects it would have and if it could be used in biological warfare. So they sacrificed the lives of their own citizens. Now, the CIA denies any such claims, but a lot of things don't add up. Florida state medical records revealed that whooping cough cases jumped 300% in 1 year. The amount of whooping cough cases in that area increased from 339 and 1 death to 1,080 cases with 12 deaths. Within the same year, might I add that again. I don't think that's a coincidence. The CIA can deny it, but something undeniably fishy was happening back then.
Coming in at number 6, we have infrared vision. Making a super soldier has always been on the military's to-do list. There's been countless experiments attached to the CIA that have been trying to make Captain America a reality, and one time they got pretty close. Well, not that close, but they almost made eyesight really good. It was back during World War II when the Americans wanted to have pilots and soldiers that could see infrared light. This is normally impossible for a person to see, but if they could change this, the game of combat would change forever. You would be like the Predator out there, slicing people up and taking their skulls and spinal columns as trophies. Well, turns out they actually had some success with this. The American government started feeding soldiers huge amounts of vitamin A, and in turn they started to get some progress in the field. Super soldiers seemed to be right around the corner, but then there were some massive advancements made in the field of infrared goggles, and any human experiments were kiboshed. Why wait for someone to become a superhuman when you can just make a robot that already knows how to be super?
We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with Project Bluebird. Project Bluebird, later named Project Artichoke, was an experiment done to see if the CIA could gain control of individuals to get them to carry out deeds for them, like assassinations. The purpose of the experiment was outlined in a memo from January of 1952. It read, and I quote, "Can we get control of an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will and even against fundamental laws of nature?" This experiment involved the use of hypnosis, a forced addiction to morphine, and then forced withdrawals. They also used a bunch of psychoactive drugs like LSD, heroin, and PCP. They wanted to somehow cause the test subjects to develop amnesia and then, I guess, retrain their brain. As a part of the experiment, they dosed over 7,000 US military personnel with LSD without them even knowing. But years after the experiments were conducted on them, more than 1,000 of the test subjects suffered from illnesses like depression and epilepsy. Many of them also became suicidal.
Coming in at number 4, we have sleepless soldiers. Experiments with sleepless soldiers has been going on for quite some time. You can go all the way back to World War II when the troops marched continuously through Belgium to attack the French and caught them off guard because they made a 2-day trip in 12 hours. Back then they were all on meth. Hitler was on meth too. But now the drugs that soldiers use are much more accurate and have way less side effects. If you have ever heard of modafinil, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. This is basically the drug from the movie Limitless. It makes it so the user can stay awake for somewhere around 40 hours, and it increases your cognitive function to levels that are unheard of. It's basically Ritalin, but 10 times stronger, and apparently there are no side effects. And when I hear that part, it kind of makes me think, well, you should sign me up because that sounds amazing. I could get so much work done, but at the same time, I do love sleeping, so I don't really want to give that up.
In our 3rd spot, we have Project MK Often. This was a project run by the Department of Defense and the CIA. The goal of this project was to not only test the behavioral and toxicological effects of certain drugs on animals and humans, as they worded it, but to also explore the world of black magic. The CIA really wanted to see if they could harness the forces of darkness. I'm not lying, that's literally what they quoted in one of their documents. Harness the forces of darkness. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. So for this experiment, they brought in fortune tellers, palm readers, clairvoyants, psychics, witches, demonologists, mediums, just everyone with some connection to the other side. Even Satanists were recruited. But it remains a mystery as to what the experiments entailed, or what these individuals were used for. We just know that they were testing drugs on people, and I think it's probably to see if it would awaken some part of the brain and would allow them to connect to the spirit worlds. But I have no clue, that's just my theory.
And coming in at the number 2 spot, one of the most famous of all, we have MK Ultra. The government loves to try and find a way to control people's minds. I can't think of anything worse than the government being able to control people's thoughts. I mean, they are working on it with the amount of ads that are just flying at your face every 2 seconds, but with MK Ultra, they wanted to go a step further than just feeding you bright images about the new Big Mac. The MK Ultra program used LSD. Yeah, you know that drug that makes you trip out and acknowledge who you are, whether you like it or not? not, that was the backbone of the MK Ultra test. They would strap people down and hit them with a dose of acid, then question the hell out of them. And I don't think that's a very good way to get someone to divulge secret information. I do think that's a great way to get someone to address their childhood traumas and become a better person. Now, one of the most famous pieces of this experiment was when the CIA agents posed as prostitutes, and they would bring a John back to a room that the CIA had placed a bunch of surveillance equipment in. Then they would dose him with a bunch of LSD and just watch the dude freak out for a few hours.
And in our number 1 spot, we have the torture experiments. So as we all know by now, the CIA conducted tons of torture experiments on individuals. During the 21st century, medical professionals were collecting data on all the experiments the CIA was conducting on prison inmates. According to a 2010 report, the CIA was experimenting with waterboarding to see how effective it was. They would then adjust the procedure to see the results. For example, they found that adding saline to the water would prevent the subjects from slipping into a coma or from dying due to overingestion of the water. That's not all. They also did many sleep deprivation tests on prisoners, having them go without sleep for 48 hours, then 96 hours to 180 hours, basically just pushing them to their limits. But of course, the CIA denies any of this from ever happening, saying, and I quote, "The report is just wrong." Wow, okay, I believe you now. Glad you cleared that up. But honestly, Jay and I better be careful, because next thing you know, the CIA will be coming for us for exposing them. And that's all for today's video. Let's move on to our comment shout out portion. We will be shouting out comments from Che's video, Top 10 Scary Karen Reddit Stories. So this is your video.
This is me.
Why don't you start off then?
Okay, Dark Van commented, Karens are acting up a lot lately. Has the human race finally been driven mad by quarantine? I mean, I don't know, quarantine hasn't been great for everyone's brain, so I think it's something added on top of that. But I think it's mostly high fructose corn syrup and prescription drugs that drive these middle-aged women crazy. That's what I think it mostly is.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think so. Caden Mosley commented, "You're scaring me too." That's to you. So not only are the Karens scaring him, but Che, you're a little terrifying and you're scaring him as well.
I don't know, I guess I'm just too intense or something?
I don't know, it's just your aura.
My
Or maybe it's
aura?
your big afro. It's just
Yeah, it's like, I still gotta bring it down a little bit so that we seem like we're the same height.
it's so
Yeah.
poofy.
Yeah, there we
Somebody
go.
commented on one of the videos that's like, "Che needs to cut his hair. It's pissing me off."
Well, I mean, I don't know why that would piss you off. You need to find other things to be mad at. You know that there's a pandemic going on and the CIA is lying to you and the NSA is stealing your information. So many other things to get upset about than my hair. But I mean, put your energy where you want. The Ultimate T-Rex commented, Karen, if you shoot someone who stole your parking spot, you still won't get your parking spot back because the guy would be dead.
True. And then she'd be mad.
Yeah.
"Get your dead body out of my parking spot."
Yeah, she wouldn't be too pleased with that.
I don't know.
I don't think.
This whole mall parking lot is mine.
Yeah, I don't think he meant lot. I
No.
mean, if you meant lot, that's not what happened. I
Maybe
don't
he's
think I
like-
said lot.
Maybe.
He said lot twice too in the comment. He said parking lot.
Yeah.
Lot.
Maybe
So-
he's like
I don't know.
English, or he's like from the UK. Is that what they say? "In the parking lot.
Your lot?
I'm gonna go park in the parking
Is
lot."
that what they say? Is the lot the one spot? We say
Maybe.
spot, they say lot?
It sounds
and
like
then
something fancy. They'd be like, "Go to the loo, go to the parking lot."
Potentially. Potentially.
Maybe.
Anyways,
And that's all the comments we're shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in our next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan,
I've been Chaderena.
and I'll see you when I see ya.
Bye. Your parking spot back.
Jay can't read.
That's a. You
This
should,
is parking lot.
oh, parking
But
lot.
oh, that doesn't make sense. I think you're right with parking spot. 'cause
Yeah, but why would they steal
Stole
your
your parking lot.
Lot.
Stole the whole thing.
The top 10. What the f- is this list called? again?
Mysterious experiments conducted by the CIA. It's right there.
Oh, is it? I thought that was going into my point.
No.
Okay, sick.
You can
You
step
can
back.
do your normal stand back.
No, this is better for my eyes, honestly. I can just see it better.
Oh, I was, that's a terrible pun. I was like, meow, that sounds like a fail. I don't like that pun. I was gonna be like, now that sounds like a fail, but that didn't work.
No way! No way!
No way, dude, they're real.
Holy
Coming in at number. Well, how we doing?
Watch your arm, please.
Well, now you moved it over, so I'm on the edge.
Switch to the other side, I mean.
I'm on the edge. Don't do drugs, kids. Oh, it's one big long sentence. Jesus. Okay.